Our Chess Beginner's Guide, video number 9. It illustrates the two important principles in chess. These are 1. Pins. A pin occurs when a piece is under attack and cannot move without exposing a more valuable piece to capture. An absolute pin occurs when it would be illegal to move the attacked piece because of a check. A relative pin occurs when it would be inadvisable to move the attacked piece because a more valuable piece lies behind it. The second topic on our video number 9 talks about piling up. Once you have pinned a piece, it can't or shouldn't move. Frequently the best way to take advantage of this situation is to add more attacking pieces until the pinned piece can be captured in the most advantageous way. These two concepts, pins and piling up, will be illustrated as follows.
Another of the most important tactics in chess is the pin. Imagine a pin being stuck into a piece and through the board, making it impossible to move. The pin is used to freeze other pieces and to win material. Sometimes in chess, we say win material as a way of describing a series of exchanges where you come out on top. There are two types of pins. The first is the absolute pin. In this example, the knight on e2 is pinned to the square because if it tries to move, notice the black rook would be able to take white's king, which is completely illegal. Because the knight cannot move, this also means the queen on d4 doesn't have any protection. Black can simply capture the queen, and again, white cannot recapture because the knight is absolutely pinned. In this position, the pawn on c7 is pinned by the bishop on a5. Notice the pawn could move, but then the bishop would be able to take the queen. We call this a relative pin. Even though you technically can move the pawn, you wouldn't want to. In this last example, after white plays knight takes c6, black makes the terrible decision to play queen takes c6, recapturing the knight with the queen, but lining the queen up with the king. So white can now play bishop to b5, pinning the queen to the king. Notice the queen would like to leave this diagonal, but it cannot. It's absolutely pinned. And if the queen tries taking the bishop, then the knight would simply take the queen. White will surely win material by using this beautiful tactic of the pin. Let's see you try it out. One of the best parts of a pin is that the pin piece cannot move. This often gives the attacker an extra move to make the pin even worse. If a piece is pinned, you don't have to capture it right away. If you remember the lesson on counting attackers and defenders, you'll know that it's important to keep adding attackers to outnumber the defenders. Let's take a look at some examples together. In this position, black's rook is pinned to the king, so black brings the king closer in order to protect the rook. Notice that the rook is still pinned. How can white pile on more pressure to the pinned piece? That's right, push the pawn. White now has two attackers against the rook, so black's king cannot recapture when the rook is captured. Notice if white would have captured the rook before adding the pawn to the attack, white would have lost the advantage, but now white gets to keep the bishop. White simply wins the rook. Let's take a look at another example. In this position, white's knight is pinned to the queen. How can black pile on more pressure to the pinned piece? That's right, with the knight. Knight to d4. Now white will lose the knight because if white recaptures with the queen, black will take the queen as well. Now that you've learned the importance of piling up on pinned pieces, it's your turn to increase the pressure against pinned pieces.
Thank you for watching our summarized video number 9 from chess.com. The next topics are skewers and avoiding bad trades. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. We will greatly appreciate it, and one way to motivate and promote more free chess videos. See you in our next video. Thanks.